can maybe pan to show the barcode thing through, you know, somewhere. Oh, it says something about CCTV. This venue operates a complete coverage CCTV system. Right. Now, this venue is significant because shortly after Williams died, a story appeared in the Sunday Times by Dowling and Swinford claiming that Gareth Williams had been a regular at this club, and they actually produced two people, somebody called Lemuel Miller, a medical student, somebody called Matthew Green, a record producer, who claimed to have met him and chatted to him. Now in itself that's neither here nor there. It's very close to MI6 headquarters, it's just over the road, really. Now the significance of that in a way, I mean apart from the fact that it might be being put forward to accentuate the sexual angle, is that when the Metropolitan Police issued a statement on the 22nd of December 2010, they referred to his visits to this club, the Barcode, as a unconfirmed sighting. Now that raises the question, did the Sunday Times invent his visits to Barcode? Did they invent those people? I know journalists are often very creative, but it seems to me in such a serious case, which they knew would be followed up by others in the media, for journalists, albeit one influenced by security services, to have invented names strikes me as very strange indeed, as indeed do all the stories about Williams' sex life. And the other point to make is, if you work just over the road, actually, not that we have any problems with anybody having any sexuality they want, but actually going for a drink in a non-threatening environment just over the road from where you work, which as I understand it gay venues generally are, so what? The sexuality is irrelevant, but of course it's been made relevant by the propaganda put forward by those people who work in that building opposite, although perhaps I use the word work euphemistically. Right, hope we're recording now. I hope you can hear me above this. We're outside the Patisserie Valerie, which is near Holland Park tube station. Pan to cakes. And this is where Gareth Williams met a couple, which are called Couple One, a young couple in their late 20s, early 30s, between 4 and 6 times a week, according to a waitress, Magdalena Kolakowska, who was interviewed. Now, what apparently used to happen is he would possibly come by bike, he'd be in the cafe or at the back, and they would arrive for a few seconds or a minute, and then they would leave, and then he would leave thereafter. So that implies it was probably a rendezvous point. He might well have been in touch with him by a computer, because Ms. Kolakowska reported that he had a device larger than an Apple tablet, which he looked at moving pictures on, so that may well be something like a Sony Vaio computer. That computer, interestingly, hasn't been found. So what was he doing? Why was he meeting them in this area? It's quite near to where he lived. It's quite a nice non-threatening area, as we've seen today, things like cameras and other things lying around, very leafy suburbs, large buildings. Some of those buildings are embassies of foreign powers, including Eastern European embassies such as the Russian. Now, The Guardian, sorry, just a bit of interference side stage. The Guardian, I'm not laughing because I've mentioned The Guardian, but just The Guardian. The Guardian reported that he was supposed to be monitoring embassies in the West London area, i.e. here. Now, given it's been said he wasn't operational at all, he was just a technical person, that's quite interesting. And what's also interesting is that he, according to his friend, Sian Lloyd Jones, childhood friend who he later reconnected with, in January 2010, he was learning new identities and had fake passports around her flat. In February 2010, one source has reported that he claimed he was being followed. So such a technical person who came from GCHQ should be operational, or might be operational, is interesting. Why he was meeting this couple here, we don't know. One of the most astounding things about this couple, I'd say, which I call couple one, the ones he met here, is that the waitress, Magdalena Kalakowska, was shown a photograph by a Welsh documentary team of couple number 2, the Mediterranean couple who visited him at Alderney Street, and she said, in particular the woman, they might well be the same people. Now, it's obvious, if he's meeting a couple in one place, then you'd think the police would want to see whether that was the same couple in another place. But what's astounding, or maybe not, is that Kolakowska said that the police never showed her the second photo he fit to ask her whether the couples might be one and the same. Now, that's either extraordinary police incompetence or something else. Don't use anything else you want me to say? I think that summarises the point of this part of the magical mystery tour.
That's dead on 3 minutes 40 seconds.
Right, good. And the quality of it is superb. Right.
Yep.
Right, this, as you might have just seen, is a Holland Park tube station, right next to the Patisserie Valerie. The specific significance of this location isn't that he always used Holland Park to come to the Patisserie Valerie. He often did that on his bike. The significance of the situation is that this produced the last known CCTV footage of Williams alive. Now that's interesting in itself. I won't say the last known, the last publicly known. I suspect there's other footage which hasn't been released yet. Now there is an amusing sideline to this. As the article in the magazine shows, there's one wonderful conspiracy theorist, an American, who claimed that the pallid appearance of Williams showed that he was suffering from a certain kind of disease which he'd been to Harrods to buy medication including antibiotics for. Now the problem for the American is, although Williams did go to Harrods, you can't buy antibiotics over the counter. You have to have a prescription for it. So yet another triumph for American kooks, I think. But I think this is significant because this is the place where the last known publicly revealed footage of Williams alive was taken. Oh, the other thing about that footage is at two various times it shows him coming in and out of Holland Park with the same clothes on. Sort of white trousers, and I think it was a red top. Now that might imply that he'd actually stayed somewhere here, round here, overnight. Now this is not the type of neighbourhood where you can toss on a park bench and get away with it, so that might imply he stayed somewhere with somebody. Maybe one of this mystery couple or couples. One doesn't know.